Welcome to this Rewilding Astrology Masterclass. So don't get confused or concerned or worried or start thinking, oh my gosh, astrology, this is going to be too much for me. This is fun. And this is like a base level introductory astrology where I'm going to teach you how to run your own free birth chart. I'm going to teach you how to put feminine asteroids in and maybe some different points in astrology that you've maybe not seen in charts before or have been curious about because I've maybe mentioned them in podcasts before and you're like, where is my Lilith, right? Or where is my Medusa? So I'll show you all of that, and then I'll show you how to add transits to your chart so that anytime I do a new moon or full moon update and talk about, okay, the moon is landing here in Libra, look at what house that's falling in, look at any points in your chart that might be lining up with that. So I'll show you all of that. And it's going to be really, really simple, really, really easy. I'm going to screen share in a minute how to look in the kind of the landing page where this video is at. You'll also see some instructions on how to run the birth chart. So you could really just follow that, run the birth chart. But what I want to give you in this conversation is a little more of what you can get out of this chart. So yeah, you'll be able to run a chart, but how do you translate it? What can you learn from your birth chart? And then where can you go to continue diving in? You know, how can you search for Medusa in Libra, right? To just find some more information on that. All right, so let's do this thing. As always, feel free to pause when you need to, if you need to write something down or to follow along. You might want to do this as we go. Who knows? You do it your way. All right, let's do this. So let me share the screen with you. Let's go here to Chrome. Okay, so these instructions, they might look a little bit different on your web page where this video is at. They might look a little bit different, but it'll be something like this. And it will tell you, go to astro.com, click on all of these things. And then it will also somewhere have something like this, asteroid key. Now, these are numbers that will allow you to find these specific archetypal energies in your chart. Yes, this is how you find where is the goddess Isis, where is the wild medicine woman Hecate, where is the snake-haired Medusa, where is Mary Magdalene in my chart. And we'll talk a little bit more about how these things then might be showing up in your life and how you can translate them into like real tangible insights. Okay, so let's leave this for now, and we're going to go here to astro.com, which I've got pulled up over here already. So it's just astro.com. When you get to this page, I always like clicking up here on horoscopes. This comes down. I then go to extended chart selection. So when you watch this video, it might be a little different because who knows when they'll update their website, but just find extended chart selection and it will be free. Then you'll want to look at birth data. So because I'm logged in, I have a slew, and you can log in for free. You can create your own kind of profile with your own saved birth dates for friends, family, in your profile. So you can do that. I'll leave you to do that. It's really simple. Follow the steps. I don't want to make this like super tutorial and boring as batshit. So I'll leave you to do that. But you can even use this, I believe, as a guest. You could do guest user, and that's fine too. So you'll come here, and we're going to use Rewilding's birthday. So that's going to be, this is the day that Rewilding was actually born, the very first workshop back in Australia. And you'll see the birthday in a second. But what you'll do is you'll add. So if you don't have anything in here, you'll add, and then I'll show you how this works. Then you'll just fill everything out. But if we go back, we can also edit. So let's just look at this. I put rewilding as a female. Birth date. This is the day, the month, the year, pretty self-explanatory. Now you want to do the hour, so when you were born or the birth chart that you're running for. So this was a workshop that I was running. This was the very first one, and it happened at 9:30 a.m. on October 11th in Sydney, Australia. So for you, you want to find birth time that you were born at. Birth time gives you certain clues in the chart. So if you don't know your birth time, I suggest finding it. It's been really, really beneficial for me to be able to work with the houses. That translates into areas of life. So if you know your birth time, you just put it in. If you don't know your birth time, you could use noon on the day of your birth, but know that the houses will not be accurate. There's some ways to find your birth time, and you can kind of search around and Google for some of that stuff on how to find your birth time if you don't have a record of it. That's not my area of expertise. I will leave you to find that on your own. All right, so let's go from here. You'll fill out the data, click continue, and then it will come up to this screen. So you see here chart type, natal chart wheel. I want to do a natal chart and transits. So you just might have to scroll, and sometimes they change this too. So just scroll for natal chart and transits. So what this is going to give us is it will give you your birth chart, but it will also give you transits, meaning where the planets and asteroids and bodies of of archetypal energies are at certain dates. So it will go with the date that you're working on. So I'm filming this, recording this, creating this on the 5th of September 2022. But what I want to do is I want to change this. So I just put out a full moon video, and that full moon is on the 10th of September. So I talked about in that particular video, and of course every video will be different, and other people's astrology videos will be different as well, and you can of course use this chart and reference different points that people are talking about, or different signs, different transits that are happening. But I'm going to use this one just because this is top of mind and really fresh for me, this full moon on September 10th as my transit date. So this right here gives me the birth chart. This right here gives me the transits. And I'll show you this in a second. When I run charts, I like a certain amount of asteroids, the ones that are very near and dear to me. And I'll show you those. I like to do true node. I like to do descending node. Mean node is an average calculation of north node, south node point. I like the true node, the where it's actually at. They kind of bounce around a little bit, but I like true node. And then descending node, we'll just put the south node in for you, so you don't have to calculate that point. North node and south node, they're destiny points. That's your destiny line. Very powerful for soul purpose, for your soul's evolution. Really, really, really amazing points to work with and to dive into and to study. And they're always opposite each other. So north node is always opposite south node. But when you click descending node, it'll automatically put south node in for you. So you don't have to try to calculate it out or do any of that stuff. All right. Then additional objects. What I like to put in is Lilith to Eris. Those are, for me, the big players that I'm initiated into, that I teach, that I hold space for those particular archetypes. Now, as you can see, there are many, 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 many more. Those are some of them I know, and I would sometimes like put in just to check out where they're at. But these are my biggies for me and for kind of rewilding. So if you've been in any of our programs, it's pretty much these. Plus, you'll see my crazy little notes and some weird old video of me over here. So what I'm going to do, these asteroid numbers, I'm just copying this to paste it in because it makes it more simple and quicker for us. But if you go back here to that asteroid key, you can choose the asteroids that you want to put in. So let's say I'm talking in an astrology video about Kali. Here's where you can put the Kali asteroid in. Let's say I'm talking about Mary Magdalene. Here's the number that you would put in to find Mary Magdalene asteroid in both your birth chart and the transits that's happening, right? Here, Medusa, Hecate, Isis. There's many, many more. So just know that there is like, oh, I don't know how many asteroid numbers there are, a lot. These are just the ones that kind of I've been initiated into rewilding works with, the ones that I might refer to in astrology. They're not the be all end all. They're just the ones that are close, near and dear to my heart, near and dear to rewilding's heart. Okay, so then I come over here. Now remember, I copied and I'm going to paste those in. But if you just look, like, let's look at 1181. And then we go over here and we go, okay, who is 1181? 1181 is Lilith. Okay, so that's how I did that. These are just the ones I always, not always, but mostly go with when I run charts. Okay, so we've done all of that. Let's move this little thing. And then you want to click show the chart. All right, so now we're getting to the good stuff. Now we're getting to the, okay, how does this relate to me? So let's say this is your birth chart and you're like, I really would love to know how this relates to me specifically. Okay, so let's say this is you. This inside black circle with all of these little symbols, numbers, things, this inside circle right here, that's you. Yeah, you just ran your birth chart. That's you. Like, this is a blueprint. So sometimes people are like, I would really love to have the, what do you call it? The user's manual, right? Or the life manual or the life guide to a human being. Well, this is kind of like a manual, like a how-to guide, this would be rewilding's psyche and energetic field and makeup. But you've got it. This is you. So you can kind of start to, if these symbols are all new to you, you can kind of start to make out like, this is the moon, right? It's in the shape of a moon. It's the moon. This is the sun. It's in the shape of a sun. Some of these are like Eris is just spelled E-R-I-S. Kali, she's spelled a little bit funny, C-A-A-L-I. But this is you. We won't go into too much of this, right? Remember, this is just an overview to kind of get you started on your journey and to give you the tools so you can look into more. But if you come down here to this chart, not the pie chart, more of like the graph, it's all translated for you. So if you're like, I don't know what the heck these symbols are, no worries. They're all told to you right here. So good, hey? Yeah. So then let's say so in this moon, we were talking, let me feel. In this moon, we were talking about black moon. And I was talking about black moon being very illuminated. And you're like, wow, I've never looked at where my black moon is in my chart. Black moon is like, where's your dark goddess? It's a beautiful point to learn about. Very powerful point to learn about. And I would suggest everyone learn where their black moon is at. But black moon, this is a funky one. And I might go through this list in a minute just so that we can translate things for rewilding specifically. So when I talk about black moon, or when anyone else talks about black moon and you run it on astro.com, it will show up as Lilith. It will be called Lilith. You'll see there's two Liliths on here. This first one with the symbol, that's black moon Lilith. To me, black moon is more of dark goddess than Lilith specific. This asteroid down here is more Lilith specific energy. So Lilith sits within the face of the dark feminine, the dark goddess. And I would consider black moon to be dark goddess. So it's more than just Lilith. It's Lilith, Kali, Medusa, right? Durga, the dark goddess, like conglomerate of dark goddesses. sits in this symbol, black moon, but called Lilith on astro.com. Let me just go through a few more of these. True node, we talked about this, that's north node. This one here, descending true node, that's south node. So it'll be referred to as south node. Chiron, self-explanatory. We already talked about Lilith as being black moon. Ceres is also considered Demeter, so you might hear people refer to her as Demeter. Same thing. Pallas is also Athena, so you can sometimes feel people talk about Athena. That's Pallas Athena. That's this symbol. Juno, goddess of marriage. Vesta, home and hearth, also considered Hestia. Much more commonly referred to as Vesta, but can be considered Hestia. Hygeia, I love Hygeia. Hecate, sometimes spelled with a K, sometimes spelled with a C, but it's Hecate, queen of the witches. This here's Medusa. This here is Persephone. Persephone's consort is Pluto. Pluto up here can sometimes be referred to as Hades. All right, so that's Persephone. This one, Siva, that's Shiva, the Shiva asteroid. Shiva, divine masculine archetypal energy. This is, again, the Lilith asteroid as opposed to Black Moon Lilith. Parvati, Kali, spelled with two A's, and then Eris. Down here is the AC and the MC. You can search those kind of on your own, so I'm not going to go into how to translate everything, but here's what is so super easy to do. So you don't need to know anything about astrology to do this. So this right here is you. These blue, this is you. This is telling you exactly where, like I said, everyone should know where their black moon is. So let's go up to this one, Lilith. This is the black moon. You'll go right here. Natal, that's you. Transit, that's what's happening in the sky on that date that we plugged in. So ignore this for now and just go right here. Lilith, LIB, that's Libra. PIS, Pisces. ARI, Aries. CAP, Capricorn. SAG, Sagittarius. VIR, Virgo. SCO, Scorpio. GEM, Gemini. CAN, Cancer. LEO, Leo, right? So you can translate all of them just to read it right here. So you don't need to know the signs. You can, and of course you can search for signs, just do a Google, like astrology symbols, translate astrology symbols, and then you'll be able to come up here and go, okay, if I want to get the sign, these are the signs. So when I'm talking about signs, that's this outer, right? That's this outer. This right here is Cancer. This right here is Leo, right? This right here is Virgo. Now I know those just because I've been doing this forever. But if you want, you can just pull up, just Google it, like astrology sign translator, what do the symbols mean? And you'll find tons of stuff, and it'll give you all of these with a little thing right next to it. But if you don't want to do that, you can just come right here, and here's what you can do. You come right here and you go, okay, let's stick with our black moon. Our black moon is in Libra. Now I can go look up black moon in Libra. Right? How beautiful is that? Black moon in Libra. And then you can learn a ton of different things about black moon in Libra. Now, I always suggest and recommend that you really use discernment. There is a lot of garbly-gook around astrology, a lot of unregulated stuff around astrology. And I kind of like that about astrology, because you can pioneer into new things and it's not super, super tight and super, super strict, but that puts us, those of us who are seeking to learn more or translating things into real life, it really forces us to have a higher level of discernment. So don't take everything that you read or see as like gold. It's more, oh, I could see how that fits. And also know that some of what astrology points to will be unconscious. So some of it may not feel like it resonates because it's more in the hidden. It's unconscious. It's the things you're not conscious of. Sometimes it's helpful to ask someone who knows you really, really well to go, okay, let me do a little search on Google for black moon. Again, we were doing black moon in Libra. Okay, black moon in Libra may translate into these different things. And then ask someone, hey, like your partner's usually pretty good if you have a partner, like, hey, babe, so I read this thing, like, do you think some of this fits? Because sometimes they will see our unconscious in ways that we won't. So that can be kind of a fun little added partner practice to this. Might lead to some intense arguments, but might also be very revelatory. Okay, so that's a way that you could go through all of these and very easily figure out, where is Medusa, where is Shiva, where is da 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 da. Something else that if you were able to put the time into your birth chart, if you knew the time of your birth, the housing system will be correct for you. So remember at the start, I said the houses, if you know your birth time, they can give you extra information. If you don't know your birth time, these will not be correct. So you see inside of the pie, like the very center of the pie, that just gives you the number of the house that you're working with. So now, if we know, again, we're only working with the natal chart at this point. We haven't gotten to transits yet. We're going to, like, how does a full moon influence me, Sabrina? Or this Mercury retrograde, you said, look at what house Libra is in and what house Virgo is in to get additional insights. Well, I'll show you that in a second, but we're still on natal chart. So we're still on your blueprint, right? Like your personal manual. So if we were to go to that same point, black moon is in Libra. And then what I would invite you to do is go, okay, this is the symbol. And it's hard to see on this computer screen, but it's like a half moon with a cross at the bottom of it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look for a half, and we're working on the inside again, right? So we're working on the inside of the chart, the stuff in the black. I'm gonna look for a half moon with a cross at the bottom. Here we go. Half moon with a cross at the bottom. This is the sign of Libra, what I just looked at below, sign of Libra. Then I go, okay, what piece of the pie? And I have to go with this inside piece of the pie. So like right here, the inside piece of the pie doesn't match up with the outside piece of the pie. And that's okay, it's not supposed to, right? It's not supposed to. So I go with the inside piece of the pie. Okay, so I have black moon in Libra, 5 degrees of Libra. We won't go into degrees. 5 degrees of Libra. And then I go down, it's in this piece of the pie, which has an 11 on it. So 11 is community. 11, I won't say much more about that. 11 is community, we'll just leave it there. Otherwise I'll dive into all sorts of crazy stuff. What you wanna do then is go black moon in the 11th house. So you can search black moon in the 11th house. What is the meaning of the 11th house? So this is the area of life where black moon, the archetype of black moon, the dark goddess, will express loudly. So if you can feel into rewilding and the essence of rewilding, right? The most popular face of the feminine within rewilding, right? There's mother, there's lover, there's mystic, there's medicine woman, many different faces. We kind of do 6, but of all of them, the face that is the most popular in our community, which rewilding is a community-based, entity we can call things, essence, I don't know what to even call it, soul. The soul of rewilding is very much about service outwards, very much about building community. And so black moon, which is the dark goddess, which is the fierce feminine, that which is hidden. It's a lot of shadow work. It's a lot to do with liberation, spiritual liberation. It's a lot to do with soul and what, hidden potentials within self. That's all rewilding. Of course, it's in the 11th house on rewilding's birthday, right? Of course, it's in the 11th house. It very much has to do with community. Black moon for us. Of course, there's all of these beauties in the 11th house. Look, North Node, destiny. The destiny of rewilding is community. And it's conjunct Mercury, right? Communication, right? Community, communication, the destiny of rewilding. Libra, balance, harmony, balance. What do we do in rewilding? Yes, it's a lot of reclamation of the feminine, but ultimately it's to bring into balance, bring into harmony, bring into union, which Libra is all about union, bring into union the divine masculine, the divine feminine, to really tap into ultimate potential, to really see what is mystical union, what is sacred union. It's really that. That's like the ultimate. That's the destiny of rewilding. That's the destiny. That's the future vision. That's what rewilding is headed into, right? In the 11th house. So the area that it will happen in is community, is in groups, is in community setting, and it's in the sign of Libra, harmony, balance, right? The union, it's too good. It's too good. And it happens a lot through communication, talking, communication of energy, exchange of energy, right? Just like I'm here yapping away, right? I love this. This is fun. It's fun to share rewilding's wild little chart in this way. Okay, so that's that for looking at your natal chart. A couple other things that you can look for are, let me feel, things that are around your sun. I want to keep this really, really easy. Things that are around your sun. So this chart doesn't have anything around the sun that's close enough. Within 7 degrees would be considered close enough. So what does that mean, close enough? Within 7 degrees. I would also look at the sun to see if there are any of these red lines or blue lines. Blue lines mean supportive aspects. Red lines mean challenging. Challenging does not mean bad. Supportive does not mean good. It's just different energies. It's just a different way of expressing. Okay, so I would then also look at moon. I'm going to give you the big points in a chart. Sun, moon, and I would look at, so if you see, remember I said 7 degrees. You can look at the moon as being conjunct. So Mercury is conjunct this north node. They're on the same degree. So Mercury and the north node, they're conjunct. They're both on 1 degree of Libra. But the moon is right here. It's in a different sign, but it's very close. So it's within a 7 degree orb. So you could say those are conjunct. And then you can look that up, right? So I could look up Mercury conjunct north node. And I would. That's something I would definitely do. These nodes are a very, very powerful point, especially for those, and if you're here, you're probably on a pretty evolutionary path, right? You're probably on some sort of a spiritual path, a growth-filled path, an evolutionary path. These nodes will point you in directions of evolution, soul purpose, deeper meaning in life. These are such a great gift. So I would dive into the nodes. This is north node and this here is south node. Upside down horseshoe, that south node. Actually, I don't know what is upside down horseshoe. When it's a U, that's the south node. When it's an N, that's the north node. Easy to remember. So I would look at these points and I would look for the red lines, the blue lines, and then I would look for any conjunctions, like here, south node is conjunct Vesta. So this means the essence of rewilding has a past life karmic imprint of, to me, Vesta is beyond home and hearth. Vesta is very priestess energy. It's temple energy, the Vestal virgins, right? It's keeper of the inner flame, keeper of the soul flame. And so that's kind of the essence that rewilding came in with, is keeper of soul flame. It's a very service-oriented energy as well. So that's kind of cool. I've never actually translated. Well, I haven't done it for years. I remember looking at this maybe 5 years ago. So I really legitimately haven't looked at rewilding's birth chart in probably 5 years. So I'm just as surprised as you are maybe, because I just haven't looked at it. Okay, so let's talk transits. Now we could dive into that Much, much, much more. There's a lot of books that you can get on how to translate your natal chart. So I'm going to leave you here to feel into what feels right for you to dive further into. But this will at least give you a way to find out where all of the archetypes that we work with in Rewilding are. Because I know some of you are in programs with us and you're like, where's the Kali archetype? You're talking about it. Where is it? So at least you can find what sign, what house, and you can just kind of briefly start to look at different aspects. That's when it starts to get a little bit challenging, when you're looking at the red lines and the blue lines, and is it square? That's where those words square, opposition, conjunction, that's where those start to come in, is what is their relationship to each other. So I will leave you there with that to kind of feel your way into what feels right next for you. If anything, this might be it, but I want to talk transits. And so remember, when I created the transit, I chose September 10th. So if you look up here, it'll say this outer wheel in the green is for September 10th. And that was this full moon. I'm creating this just before the full moon. I just filmed the full moon video, and now I'm creating this. But doing it for September 10th, and I spoke, you can look and go, okay, if this is a full moon, here's what I would do to keep it simple, to keep it really, really simple. I would zoom in on this and I would go, okay, so do you see how this line here matches up with this line here? I would go, okay, where's the sun landing? Okay, the sun is actually like landing. And just because Jupiter's here doesn't mean that that's where he's at, right? So let me show you this really quick. If I come down here and I look at this, the sun is at 17 degrees. You see this right here? This is the transit. Remember, this is the date that I put in. This is your natal chart. So if I were to look at Jupiter, the sun was at 17 and the Jupiter in the natal chart was at 12. Okay, so that's a way of deciphering, because you're like, I don't know, like, how do I count these things? Does it go from this way to this way? Whatever. Let's do sun is 5, 10, 11, 12. We said the sun was at, wait, did we say the sun was at 12 or 17? Sorry, I think I'm even counting backwards. I am counting backwards. Here it goes Leo, then it goes Virgo. Jeez, Sabrina. So 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. Sun is at 17. We always go this way in a counterclockwise fashion is the way that we count and the way that a chart is laid out. So, okay, that's sun at 17 and then Jupiter is at 12. So if you see, Jupiter's line is actually back over this way. So just know, like you can see here, 12, unfortunately, they don't give you the numbers on the transits, but that's how you can look for them. So 12 and 17, that's 5 degree separation. So this full moon will light up the 10th house. So see here, 10th house, that's important. That's important because I'll refer to this. And it will light up Jupiter. It will light up Jupiter and it will light up the 10th house. It's conjunct Jupiter by 5 degrees. It's technically 7 degrees from the moon. So you could also say that it's highlighting the moon. It's a 7 degree orb. I don't know. Some people use 5 degree orbs. I would just take this as, okay, this full moon is falling on Jupiter, which is expansive energy. So you can look up, what is Jupiter energy? Expansive energy in the 10th house of career. That's big, right? Like career. So if this was your chart, you would go, far out, this is a full moon chart for my career. This is cool. How can I focus on my career, my area of life that is career? Cool, hey? This is great. So then we can go to the moon, and I just want to find some words here for fourth house. So yeah, those are the same words that I was going to use. So did you see how quick I did that? I just did a super quick search because I looked, okay, sun is falling in the 10th house, house of career, and then moon is falling in the 4th house. I do a quick search on it. It represents all aspects of domestic life, including your family and where you live. So I would say family and home, that's what I was gonna say, but just wanted to see if there was something else that popped up for that. Same thing, I'll do it for the 10th house too, just to see what comes up for us really quickly. And you can just see how quick this is, right? 10th house. 10th house, house of social status. It's about the place we have attained in our social or work career grouping and in society as a whole, right? So it can give you some different perspectives and different words to feel into, right? Career is very limited. Home and family can also be very limiting. So look around in different areas. And again, that discernment piece, feel for you. But this moon, interestingly, right, it falls into career social status. The sun falls in there, conjunct Jupiter in the natal chart. So expansive. So to me, that's like expansive energy in career. The moon, which is more our emotional side, it's our more feminine side, that falls in family. So emotionally, we might be drawn into family and home and feeling into things like that. But full moons also illuminate things. So it'll illuminate maybe my feelings about my family, right? My more feminine side. What moon is also what nourishes us, like what is nourishing to us. So this is a moon that's falling in that area of the chart, and it's the sun. So when a full moon happens, it's the sun and the moon are always opposite each other. The sun is falling in the 10th house, expansive for careers, right? And so I could just dive into that and reflect on that. The other thing that I spoke about in this particular full moon video was Mercury going retrograde. So if we look around the chart, and again, if you don't know the symbols, so this is Mercury, but if you don't know the symbols, just come down here. Just come back down here. Okay, Mercury, Mercury. Oh, there's Mercury. Okay, oh, that looks interesting. That's him. It gets worse when you zoom in on this crazy website. Okay, so I look for Mercury. Okay, here's Mercury. And let's just see where Mercury is falling. So Mercury's falling at 5 degrees. So this is pretty cool because Mercury's falling at 5 degrees. This black moon is at 5 degrees, right? So Mercury's going retrograde on our black moon. That's beautiful information to know. And again, we can Google search this or start to dive in deeper, right? I mean, astrology is a never ending pit hole of learning more stuff, right? You just never end with astrology. And this is only meant to be an overview. So just, I'm not going deep into this, but I'm just giving us ways. And so I spoke about it as Mercury's going retrograde. It's going to go backwards. Sorry, I keep doing that. Man, oh man, my brain is just wild. When I start talking, I just get so programmed into going, right? Like you read this way and you always go, anyways, not in the direction that I'm taking us. So Mercury, when going direct, will go in this direction, right? Well, remember I said everything goes counterclockwise when it's going direct, but Mercury's going retrograde. So we'll now be going clockwise. We'll be going to the right. So I talk about this in the conversation. I say Mercury's going, oh no. Okay, we're good. Mercury is going backwards through Libra, touching into Virgo. And so you can see Mercury's going to go over black moon, over Mercury, over the north node. I don't know what degree Mercury stops at. Might hit the moon. So this is, oh my gosh, I'm revising, I'm revisiting, right? Retrogrades are all about revising, revisiting, reorganizing, recalibrating these different aspects. Okay, whoa, that's really beautiful. I get to look at revising, revisiting the hidden, the unconscious, that which the dark goddess wants to liberate me from or potentials to awaken me to. Okay, well, that's cool. Over my own Mercury, that's beautiful, like rewiring of the brain. My own destiny point, my north node. Okay, whoa, like recalibrating. Maybe it's a realignment to my purpose, to higher callings, to soul callings. Whoa, this is amazing. So this gives us tips on what to meditate on, right? Like what to meditate on, what to feel into. It's so stunning to me what this can do for us. So I think that's where I would love to leave things at. I'm going to stop the screen share at this point. But again, this was just meant to be an overview of how you can run your free birth chart, how you can find where any of the archetypes that we talk about, the planets and the asteroids that I talk about, how you can find where they are at in your chart and then learn more. And then finally, how to locate what house and what transits are affecting you, or where a full moon is falling, where a new moon is falling, where different points are falling that we'll point out in the video. All right, oh my gosh. Again, this is just like the dipping a toe into how vast and how deep and how high and how wide astrology can go for you. So if you want to share something, check out our Facebook group, right? There's lots of conversations. There's also really great astrologers in our Facebook group who will sometimes, like, if you have a question like, hey, I just found out that my Medusa is in Libra. Anyone else with the Medusa in Libra? How's that showing up for you? That's a great place to do it. Another thing to do is, that's one way of kind of coming into community or having like-minded individuals to hang out with, is just our public Facebook group, totally free. You'll find links below. Second layer in would be to join Bones. To join Bones, that's where we work with the astrology every month. So we really follow along with what's happening, the doors that are open, different inner practices that we can work with. Like this moment in time is a very destined moment in time. So it's very destined. So we're working with that North Node, South Node, right? We're working with opening up more and more and more to our destiny points. And we're working with clearing karma from the South Node. And then next month, I'm feeling it'll be a lot around evolution of the masculine, like Mars and Neptune will be doing a thing where it's really being asked to evolve our own masculine essence within ourselves. And so we'll work in that territory. So it's really the work that we're doing in Bones, which is just a soulful group, and we gather online live and do a 2-hour workshop, and then we gather 2 more times. Those are optional gatherings live, but it's a way to stay in community, to really do practices. It's what is it? It's like embodied astrology. I mean, we kind of call it rewilding astrology, but it's deep diving soulful practices. The whole group, it's called Bones because it's really short for living close to the bone, like living close to the razor's edge of truth, like soulful truth. All the practices are based around that, but are really in accordance to what's happening in astrology. So as within, so without, as above, so below. And so we kind of work in that. So you'll see options to join that too, if journeying, and you can try it out for a month and just see if you like it. You get 6 free workshops just for trying it out. And I think it's around 50, I don't know, maybe it's $60. I don't even know what it's at now, but super affordable because we wanted to make something that the majority of our community can be a part of if they're called to work in that way. All right, I hope this masterclass has served. I will see you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you. So much love to you.